Hi. Now there was this elderly blind senator in Rome in the 280s. In 280, Pyrrhus, the king of Epirus and Macedon, he invaded southern Italy and he defeated the Romans twice in Iraklia, and 279 he defeated them at Asculum. Of course, with heavy losses on both sides. And according to our good friend Plutarch, we are told that Appius Claudius did in Rome, for after the Romans had been defeated by Pyrrhus in a great battle, that's probably Iraklia and Asculum, when he heard that the Senate was admitting proposals for a truce and peace, he found that intolerable, and although he had lost sight of both his eyes, and he was quite old at that, he had himself carried through the forum into the Senate house. He went in, took his stand in the midst of the Senate, and said that hitherto he had been grieved by the loss of his eyes, but now he could pray not even to have ears to hear them discussing and doing things so disgraceful and ignoble. And thereupon, partly by rebuking them, partly by instructing and inciting them, he persuaded them to rush to arms forthwith and fight it out with King Pyrrhus of Epirus for the rule of Italy. And so the fight went on. So anyway, after his two great victories at Iraklia and Asculum, Pyrrhus went on to blunder and blunder and blunder until he was defeated in 275 at Beneventum, and he was forced to leave Italy with heavy losses. Most of his army was lost. So that is a brief. So this is part of one of his moral plays. This is Plutarch on one of his moral essays, and it's called Old Men in Public Affairs. And we got a similar story in the life of Pyrrhus in the Parallel Lives, but this is a lesser well-known part of the Old Men in Public Affairs from the moral essays, or the Moralia. So the Romans, the great Roman Republic, was defeated twice by the king of Epirus, Pyrrhus, and Appius Claudius, an old blind man, urged them to fight on and on and on. But it was more or less his blunder in Sicily, fighting the Carthaginian Empire, that brought about his demise in Italy. And he did blunder after blunder, and of course at Beneventum it was his mistakes, not so much the Roman gallantry that made Pyrrhus lose most of his men, naval storms, and was forced to go back to Epirus and Macedon in 275 with the loss of most of his army. Right, so here we have a brief, I just mentioned an excerpt from the great moral essays of this great philosopher, Plutarch of Hieronymus. The famous statue of Pyrrhus at the Museum of Naples. The Senate House would have looked something like this.